your HOT6 GSL. My conscience is telling me, and I give in.
What's up, guys? I'm Tasteless, with me is Moonglade, and this is the GSL Code A Day 1.
Good to be here, Tasteless. Back once again, filling in, man.
Yeah, man, good to have you here. Artosis is on vacation, and yeah, it's really good to be down here starting the first day of the GSL Code A. These players will be duking it out for the chance to be in the Code S, and with all the Korean players back here in Korea competing, this is the toughest Code A you could ask for.
Absolutely. I mean, even looking at the player list today, it's like, it's absolutely insane that these guys have to make it through Code A again. Like, these guys, a lot of them used to be in Code S.
Yeah, it's funny. In the previous years, you know, there was more global presence for Koreans internationally, the way the WCS was set up. But since that's changed, it's so difficult now, even to get through Code A. We had players like Zest at the beginning of the year, not in Code S. Many other top players.
Yeah.
It's been a real struggle for these guys. Code A, very unforgiving, but you know, a lot more prestige if you do get to Code S versus just being here in Code A.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking at these players today, even the ones we're starting off with, Creator and Pigbaby, these two. Pigbaby used to be a WCS NA champion before he came back to Korea. Creator, he's been around since the start. He's had a lot of success. He's had a lot of ups and downs, and it's good to see him back in an individual league like this. But I wonder how far he can make it.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, somebody like Pigbaby who did have so much success in the North American scene, it is a different beast coming down here. We see a lot of the players that did well overall overseas, like in Europe and North America, they were good, but they were good at events that required a lot more stamina, being able to travel well.
That's right.
Being able to win, you know, several matches in the course of 1 to 2 days.
Yeah.
And really the format here in Korea is quite different. You have to prepare for a match that you maybe only have, well, you have like 3 full weeks and nothing else.
Yeah.
Maybe one overseas event. But that's a lot of time preparing not just for your matchup, but your opponent, the maps that are out there. So what's really cool about the GSL overall is that you get to see these guys and how well they can prepare when they have just so much time.
Yeah, it really comes down to those perfect series, those perfect games. And as you said, it's like a completely different skill set when it comes to going to those international events and playing for 2 days. That's the likes of Tasia. Like, where is Tasia these days? He isn't going to these international events anymore. He had to come back to Korea, and he just hasn't been finding any success.
And I mean, that was when a lot of people were saying that Tasia is actually going to be the player who will take over Korea and disprove what Artosis and I have been saying a lot of, which is that, you know, it's the hardest to be out here and to compete in these leagues. And it looks like in this case we were right, at least with that in regards to Tasia. He's been having a much tougher time.
Absolutely.
However, I will say though, we did have last season a player in a non-Korean team actually win the GSL Code S, which is pretty huge.
Yeah, Rain is a fantastic player in general. And I mean, he came from a Kespa team, but then he settled in a foreign team once again. So, you know, he had that kind of backbone of training there, I guess. Maybe the network over here to get the job done and get enough skill to maybe compete here.
I guess one question too is how long will he maintain that?
That's the big
because
question.
it's certainly one thing if you switch over to a non-Korean team and then have success versus, let's say, a year and a half later.
That's generally the big question when you see these players go to these foreign teams. Like, how long are they going to last with what they've built in this Kespa team? Yeah, I completely agree with that.
So as you can see, we have some new maps here for you guys in the GSL. Also, you can see what the high-ranked players have been picking first. Of course, map vetoes are pretty important when you come into best of 3s, best of 5s especially. So it's kind of cool to see what maps these guys prefer. I would say last season in the GSL Code S, we had some of the best new maps we could ask for.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it seems like they're adding in another one, at least Terraform. Now, that's an interesting map. That's fresh off the ladder pool this season, and a lot of controversy based on this ladder season.
There's historically been a lot of controversy just with ladder maps in general.
In general, for sure, but this one has been it's been a bit of a special case. I mean, it's very new still, so we're still waiting to see where it all lands. But some of the maps, what was it called? Dash and Terminal. No, that was a scary map that came in the map, but we got to see that over at Kespa Cup briefly, and like, yeah, we're never going to see that one again, I don't think.
Well, I think it's good they try out a lot of these different maps, but you can definitely see when you throw certain maps in there, just depending on where the structure of where the expansions are, or at the distance, whether it be too close, too far apart from each other, it can really change stuff. Previously, we've had a lot of maps that have experimented with gold bases, and we've seen Zerg players really take advantage of that.
Well, I mean, this one was something else. It was like where the gold base is so close that the Terran can lift its CC and land there, start mining. And then, like,
we've gone full circle all the way to the early days
we're
of
going
the Wings of Liberty beta.
We're going back to Kulos Ravine, man. We're going, like, you can literally set up a tank behind some debris that sieges the hatchery natural. Like, it's absolutely insane.
Pretty abusable.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty funny. I remember, like, way early Wings of Liberty beta days when Terrans would lift off their command center and go to the gold base, and everybody was looking at that and saying, I mean, is that really the best move? Because it seems to be pretty good.
It's pretty good, but really,
in the long run, it got mapped out. But then we saw this whole new phase of Zergs, especially, for instance, on Vani Research Station, doing the gold base expand and having a lot of success with that.
If they're playing against Protoss, Zergs do have a lot more freedom to expand where they desire. But here's the matchups today, Tasteless. And Creative vs. Pigbaby starting things off. I like this a lot. It's going to be a pretty interesting one. Pigbaby, this guy that kind of disappeared after his WCS NA success. And then Solar versus True. True, like, he was such a great player, but he's one of those cases where he joined a foreign team and he just disappeared.
I actually thought he was going to win a Code S a little while back. We had a little bet in the down here at everybody at GSL, and I actually wrote down True because he played so well the day that I saw him. But yeah, he's been having a much harder time. And down here at the bottom, sort of a blast from the past, we got TY against Lucira. TY is somebody who's been solid all the way back to the Brood War days when his ID was Baby.
Right.
And Lucira is somebody who was just incredibly good at Zerg in StarCraft II, or early Wings of Liberty, but did not quite have that success. Lost to, I believe it was Nest T in Season 3 of GSL.
Long time ago. Yeah. He's always been one of my favorite Zerg players. He's very strong, very powerful mechanical Zerg, but just never finding that success.
You know, now that I'm seeing Creator here in the booth, I'm realizing it's been at least 3 years or something.
Has it been
2.5 years since I've casted him.
Wow.
He looks so much older now.
Yeah, he's grown up a lot.
I've obviously seen him casted in other leagues, but for some reason now that I'm here talking about him, it really hits me just how long it's actually been since he's been down here. So this is going to be interesting. This is a guy who's got a lot of experience.
A lot of experience.
He has been a great player here in Korea. His opponent, on the other hand, Pigbaby, very successful in North America when the Koreans basically divided the world up into slices of pie.
Right.
And we had about a third of the Koreans dominating North American tournaments, a third dominating European tournaments, and then obviously the rest here in Korea, with a few sprinkled in Taiwan, elsewhere.
Yeah, Pigbaby's kind of a unique one. He came to America, he won that one tournament, then he never really had any success past that in North America or outside it. So he's been like waiting in that team house for a long time. He's starting to get some more games, and maybe today he can do something. But we did see him actually in Star League recently go down to BL, I believe it was. Just got knocked out of that tournament in the Challenger. So let's see if we can do this against Creator and Code A.
Well, our map lineup's going to be Vani Research Station, Cactus Valley, Iron Fortress, Coda, Terraform for the final map. Now, Terraform, that'll be interesting if we do get to that.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun. Same with Iron Fortress, you know. Iron Fortress, one of these maps that doesn't really favor Protoss at all because of the map layout, how far away that third base is. So I think we're going to see a lot of aggression on that one.
Well, looks like our players are now in the lobby. We're going to be starting this game momentarily here. It is a best of 5. The winner does go on to that coveted GSL Code S spot. And we're going to start this all off here on Vani Research Station. A PvP, the matchup with the most different build orders. It can be pretty crazy. There's a lot of mind games that go off or going on before you even scout your opponent in attempts to hide things, to outmaneuver him, show him false information. We'll see. I don't believe these two players have had much of a history together here, so all they can really do is watch their previous VODs, I guess.
That's pretty much it.
And our game is now lit up, so let's do this! I'm Tasteless, with me is Moonblade, as we go into Creator versus Pigbaby here at the GSL Code A. Over here in the top center, in the red, he is
Creator Prime.
He's been on Prime for 4.5 years now.
Some would say
Does that sound
long.
right?
Yeah.
In the bottom center, in the blue.
Gene Air Green Wings, Pigbaby.
I think you're right. I think some people would say for too long.
Well, he's had a very rocky sort of career in Prime. We do see him over at Pro League a lot as well. He's trying to carry that team. He is like the oldest, most experienced player, and arguably the most successful currently. And man, it's just loss after loss. They had the literal worst season I think any team has ever had in Pro League in the last round. So it's like these guys are really bottoming out. The morale has been completely shot at this point. So Creator's like he's in a bad place, but I think he looks at this as a great chance to kind of further his career again.
Yeah, you know, it's always a balance. If you're, you know, let's say you're somebody like Creator, you're in a lot of ways the MVP of the team. You're also the veteran, so you're going to get special treatment. There's probably some good ways. Hold on, no SC2, no HOT6, no life. I agree with that, my friend.
Absolutely.
But you know, when you're somebody like Creator, you know, there are, I guess, some advantages to staying on Prime, right? Probably get a lot of preferential treatment from the coach, but overall,
that's true. That's true.
You might not get as many opportunities to train. Some teams train with each other more than others. Just, you know, are completely insular.
Yeah, I definitely look at Prime as being one of those more insular teams as well. Like
really? Okay.
I think they lacked a lot of networking, and I mean, they don't really have the caliber of players that other teams may desire to want to practice with outside of Creator, perhaps. Creator's like really the only one gaining success in that team, getting wins in Pro League outside of it, getting to Code A. I don't think we'll see another Prime player this season.
Well, it's funny because the Prime players we do see are the ones that left. They're all on other teams, but I mean, they made some great players. Obviously, we could all remember Marine King, but of course, Maru Prime. Yeah, he was once a Prime player.
Yeah.
They made a lot of great guys, but eventually the other players would get bought out.
They get picked up, yeah. If they start to show potential. It's kind of surprising as well that Creator simply didn't get picked up at one point.
I found that very weird.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a story to that we don't know.
Could be something, man. Maybe he's a troublemaker in the house.
Maybe, I don't know. Interesting build here, by the way, from Pigbaby. So he put the pylon out there, and he's going to hide at Twilight Council.
Yeah.
Thought there might have been a small chance he would do something weird, like put a Stargate out there. Normally we'd see the Stargate put closer, but you can still hide it and then just have it there in that backdoor area, and it works as well. But instead he's going to go for what is either going to be Blink or...
I think it would have to be Blink at this point. If the probe was still there, then it would most likely be a Dark Shrine.
His gas, is not synced up well enough to just as neatly do that. So yeah, it will be Blink. Aggressive
sort of opening from Pigbaby. And Pigbaby is one of these Protoss that are very aggressive. We just see it recently, like... He loves his two-base timings more than anything else, so perhaps he's looking for that here. Chrono boosting out that Blink this early on. It's going to be up to Creator to kind of identify this. And he's going into Stargate just a little bit later.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have Creator just power here on one base, 3 gates and a Stargate, versus a bit more of a finesse, style build here from Pigbaby. And it also looks like Creator is gearing up to be aggressive here. We got the pylon warping in out here at the upper left. And he should, I don't believe, can you actually check? We got the preview PC over here. Did he actually see the pylon? I don't believe he did.
No, he did not. No.
He may be suspicious because he saw the probe moving out.
That could be, that could definitely be a bit of a tell here. And maybe you can get something done there. This is a pretty easy map to defend your main on as well.
That's true.
I mean,
I'm a little bit worried, actually, for him sending these stalkers out in the middle of the map like this.
Yeah.
It seems like he's actually not picked up on a lot of clues right now. Which means those 2 stalkers are going to get isolated on the middle of the map. This actually could end pretty quickly.
This could very well do so. Well, he's going to be out there, but 2 pylons going down.
Well, here's the problem. He's going to get the mothership core, no problem. Now, he is forced to back up, but those 2 stalkers are now stuck in the middle of the map. If he closes in, surrounds that, and waits for that Nexus cannon to deplete, for the cooldown to wear off on that, he can actually dive back in there and do another attack. It will be Blink Stalkers here for Pigbaby, but the numbers might be a little bit bad on his side. Blink is good, but not when you're 2 behind.
Yeah, well, if you're going to be aggressive with 2 Stalkers out in the middle of the map, and he simply goes for a counterattack using that Mothership Core to defend at home, he's going to have that Stalker advantage, or at least be even. And then with Blink behind it, I don't think there's any way Creator Stalkers can actually fight this.
Yeah, I think you're right. He should have backed up here. We have the 2 stalkers of his now. Kind of reverse situation out here in the middle of the map. The Oracle is coming down, though, and there is no Mothership Core.
Ooh, no.
So that's going to be a problem.
He's going to have to force out some Stalkers back at home. And if he doesn't have the warp availability, like, he's just going to lose a ton of probes.
Yeah, this could be bad. All right, he's coming in here now. And probes are being hit.
Oh, man. All of them have to be pulled.
Yeah, unfortunately, not quite chasing it. He could have gotten a few more kills there. And he's also making a Void Ray here at home. So this is 6 kills, 7 kills.
This Void Ray is actually very important as well, and the Great Force Field is going to be holding off this Blink Stalker army for a while longer.
I was going to say, he's actually very fortunate he actually got the Force Field off like he did, because he could have just blinked up there, and it might have been a different story. Okay, he's going to come up here now. Nice control there, pulling that Stalker back. Zealot's coming up here as well.
Bit of a disaster for Pigbaby, actually, losing that many probes and then completely botching that attack. I think he's almost ran out of steam as well. That Void Ray is still healthy. We're still alive for now. He's going to try and target
it's still okay. He's still trying to do some damage to it. He does manage to take it out. Let's see how the next warp in does here. Oracle comes back now, but not being controlled very well. Okay, he's going to try to target down just a few more probes here. That's going to be almost 10 kills.
Oh man, still so many Blink Stalkers left over as well. Another Void Ray coming up here, but is it going to be enough?
It's hard to say. He's warping in more Stalkers back here, and he's doing a good job of blinking. So Pigbaby might just be able to take this. It's now 3 against, about 5 here, with another one warping in.
The only redeeming thing is that Creator does have a better economy behind this, so if he can hold and stabilize, he will be miles ahead.
Yeah, there's a big probe difference here, 13 to 18. So both sides are pretty sparse on probes here, but Pigbaby does have the ability to blink, and that's going to be a GG.
Wow.
Creator just taps out. And that was actually quite neck and neck for a lot of that.
That was very close.
It really does show you the sheer power of Blink.
Blink can do a lot. Even if you're down, 8, 10 probes from a counterattack with an Oracle, like, if you just don't have that Blink, you're just so less cost efficient.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because you see these guys getting sentries to try to hold off the Blink Stalkers and ideally stop them from getting vision onto the high ground, but at the same time, when they invest in those sentries, that's a lot of gas that's not going into anything else. And eventually those Stalkers are going to engage you.
Yeah.
And then, I guess you could have one for a Guardian Shield or something, but it does not do anywhere near as much.
Absolutely. Creator was pretty desperate, having to bring out Void Rays to defend against this. It's not really the choice decision against Blink Stalkers. It can get focused down pretty quickly. So it was a pretty difficult situation, but very nice build choice from Pigbaby.
Gotta say, pretty impressive. I think some of that was also Creator was out in the middle of the map too much.
Overly aggressive.
It seemed like he was fine. He did not obviously figure out that Blink was there until his opponent had Blink, so that might have been why he was more confident there on the map. I guess a lot of this game could even go back to the fact that he did hide that. Pigbaby did hide that.
It was a big play
because he was on the map. I feel like he could have done better if he just had his stuff back at home. With the Stargate there and the Void Ray coming out, and that Oracle did the damage, maybe it would have been a different story.
Even those extra 2 Stalkers, as they were out on the map, they did get caught out by the Blink Stalkers eventually. Like, just that extra little bit of firepower just could have been enough to really hold on.
We're going to Cactus Valley, boys.
Cactus Valley, I like this map, man.
Yeah, man. Let's see how this goes now. Again, it's a best of 5 here. These guys have had a lot of time to prepare for this. It's tough though. Best of 5, especially in PvP, a player who can adapt and read his opponent is always going to win. Much more so than a best of 3. The best of 3, something weird can happen in one of the games. The best of 5, there's a lot more room to start figuring your opponent's movement out, what kind of build he's doing.
Yeah, it's a much bigger sort of. You got a lot more room, as you said, so you can make a couple of mistakes and still have a chance to come back into this.
Yeah.
It's never like, I got cheese once and then I lost a macro game and I'm out.
It seems like when you have 2 players that are both very high level, but one is better than the other, if you put them together and make them play like 20 games against each other, there's a chance that it might look even at the start, but then eventually as time passes and more games are played, usually the better player just starts to win a disproportionate amount of them. As the other player might have gimmicks or tricks, but the adaptive player learns, and that's why a best of 5 is just so much better than a best of 3.
Yeah, StarCraft, you really need a lot more games to really identify the better player because of the different sort of situations that can happen, and especially with cheeses involved as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Game 2 is loading up here on Cactus Valley. Right now, a 1-0 lead for Pigbaby up against Creator. In the bottom right in the red, he is
Creator Prime.
in the top left as the blue Protoss.
Gene Air Green Wings, Pigbaby.
Up a game. Kind of surprisingly, I think a lot of people picked Creator to actually come ahead in this one.
Yeah, I certainly did. Let's see what happens, though.
Still early days, Tasteless.
Can't really use that build again here on this map.
Certainly is a lot bigger of a map and a lot easier to defend.
I suppose you could do whatever you want on any map.
You can do whatever
PvP,
you want,
but
Tasteless.
realistically,
You have a lot of freedom.
I doubt he's going to do that same strategy again. We'll see.
I wouldn't hold it against him, to be honest.
Really?
Because that is the last thing he's going to be expecting is another, Blake
Well,
Stalker
we
rush.
have had games like that before where
Yeah.
occasionally the guy does the strat that just wouldn't seem to make any sense.
Shine,
Throw him
9
up.
pools twice in a row, man. No one's going to expect that.
It's true. It's true. They are in cross spots
That is true.
on quite a big map here. Now, obviously, Protoss can still rush each other on that, but they've got a good distance here. If you spot the enemy pylon and shoot that down, you got a lot more room to expand and defend. So I think there's a good chance this should be one of our longer PvP games.
It certainly should be. But as we say that, Pigbaby, he's already scouting. He's scouting very quickly. And, it's kind of an investment. You're missing out on one worker mining this early on when you're still kind of trying to get everything up and running.
It's interesting because a lot of players will opt to not scout when a map gets as big or just scout much later.
Especially Protoss players.
Exactly, because, there's, not always the highest chance you're going to find your opponent immediately out of all the starting locations. So what they'll do is they'll just be very safe and have this sort of well-rounded build that should hold off pretty much everything until they can get a later on scout. This is something that wasn't really done in StarCraft, even Brood War for a long time.
Oh, yeah?
People always scouted early. It just seemed like, there were so many different build orders and there were so many different maps at the time. It only made sense to scout right away. It wasn't until eventually, I think when a lot more of these Kespa maps got more refined.
Yeah, when things start to get figured out a lot more is when you can actually decide not to scout as much. It's like, well, there's only 3 kind of viable builds and I can deal with 2 of them. So maybe I take a chance and not scout but get ahead in economy.
Yeah, I'll do a build that'll cover about 90% of the things he can do against me. And if I play that right, and in this case, let's say he's scouting me really early, I should have an economic lead anyways.
Creator starting off with a pretty defensive build as well with an early second gateway. Means he's going to get a lot more stalkers out in the map early on. Maybe he's afraid of that same aggression from Pigbaby. And no doubt will probably take an earlier expansion as well. And Pigbaby, guess what? He's throwing down that Twilight Council again. Nice and early.
Yeah, Creator has been driven out. And so, in a way, so far this build is the same. Even though he didn't hide it somewhere special, if you don't scout it, you don't see it.
That's exactly it. And see where this probe ends up on the top right of the map. Is it actually going to be used for one of these pylons once again? The other thing to note, though, as I said earlier, the 2 early gateways from Creator means he's going to have that stalker advantage early on here.
Yes. That's very important. That's how you punish a guy who's teching like this. Looks like Creator's Twilight's about to get done, and Blink should be popping out of there almost immediately. And there it is now. So, with a map this big, if your probe gets away and somewhere out that's not in one of the 2 mains, I mean, it's so hard for them to actually find that.
Oh, yeah.
You might as well just assume that you're stuck with hidden pylons on the map. And they both have that right now.
Well, it looks like Creator was kind of like scouting for proxies by the looks of things. Now he's going to be more aggressive with this. And I think Creator wants to just pretty much give back what he received last game. Already with that little stalker lead.
Creator is going for a robotics facility here, so builds are deviating a little bit here. This is a scouting mothership core, and so he can use that. As we were talking about earlier, Creator opted to scout late. There's other ways to scout later on, and that's one of them. You come up there and peeking like that.
Yeah, both players actually being pretty defensive in the end of all things. They kind of scattered each other out, and they're like, okay, we're going to transition to that robo. Going to make sure we don't die to DTs anytime soon, so you want to get the observers out nice and quick. And we could very well just see a game just go into a normal sort of macro game on 2 base.
By the way, guys, I believe you can use the GOMTV app to submit messages. Just like this gentleman who was saying, TY, this is yours. We'll be getting to that in a little bit here. It's in like a few hours, but
little while.
a little bit early there, but we appreciate it. Good to see some guys down here supporting TY.
I never knew you could do that.
Yeah, it's actually very new here. I think we had this just at the finals.
Oh, that is great.
And we actually have Pigbaby coming up here. It looks like for another attack. Is the force field going to get off here in time? Wow, didn't even need to go for the force field just there.
Oh! Actually getting that the last
I actually
second
am so surprised he shot that down.
Yeah, that was very ambitious.
Yeah.
Didn't lose a Stalker for it, though.
Sometimes when you're casting, you just want to say it ahead of time. Like, well, he'll never get that.
He'll never get that.
That was a safe play by us, Moonglade, to not mention that until it was cut down.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
Yeah.
He'd be pretty far behind if he lost a Stalker at that point. And I think he's just kind of posturing here, just applying pressure while he throws down that Nexus. And Creator, he's on the defensive here. He doesn't know what kind of aggression is actually coming his way. Can he expand? He's going to try now.
Well, I think it's only natural these guys are both going to get their expansions up here now.
Yeah.
It's not easy to reinforce. Usually, if they get their second base up in PvP, the odds of the game ending for a little bit are pretty low.
Especially, Cactus Valley, and I think one of the biggest things that I always harp on about on this map is that the choke point at the natural is so ridiculously small that it makes it that much easier to defend against just about anything.
Yeah, the odds of you getting in there are just so low. This is one of these maps that actually does look like an older Kespa Bird War map.
Oh, yeah?
Where there's lots of room to expand. There are not as many sneaky ways to get inside somebody's main. Like we've seen in some of these earlier StarCraft II maps where you look at that and you're like, no way, you can blink up in there or, you can punish this. This seems to really reward more of a macro PvP.
Big fan of Python. I was a Python boy.
That was a good map.
That was a great
That map was played a little bit too much.
I
by the end,
way too much.
But that was like they made everything that was wrong about Lost Temple right again.
That's exactly why I liked it so much. Because
there was no stupid ledge for them to drop the siege tanks on and
build a bunker and like 2 turrets or something.
Yeah,
I hate this game.
The islands were gone. I didn't mind the islands actually on Lost Temple, but it was kind of nice to see them gone and sort of a weird third base you could take out there. It was one of the better maps.
I was a bad dude on that Lost Temple map when I was playing with one of my high school friends. He used to. We used to play melee, and he used to lift his CC, but he lifted the island.
Oh yeah, I knew people who did this.
Build battle cruisers and stuff. Yeah, man, that was me.
Let me tell you something. There's some skill to that, man, because sometimes you play that wrong and you realize you put your depots incorrectly and you can't pull the starport there because there's no room.
Yeah, my friend was very practiced at it.
Oh yeah, that's all he did.
We got banned a lot from X17, man.
That's so funny. Hold up. We actually got an attack coming up here. Nice harass here from Creator coming up here, trying to gun down some probes, and that's going to get possibly the rest of the army out of position here. Yeah. Well, Creator's not going to move the bulk of his army, which is out just a little bit south of this screenshot here.
Now, that was a very questionable move.
What
exactly was he thinking with this?
Well,
he threw away
He
four
did not
stalkers.
pay for him. 4 probes is good, but not when you lose 4 stalkers, Moonglade.
I don't really understand why he did that move. Now he's behind in supply and Stalker count, and now he's actually caught out in the map. Pigbaby's going to try and deal with more of them. Oh, very ugly situation.
Yeah, he's actually now zoned him out. He's stuck on the left side of the map, and Pigbaby can intercept this. He could even maybe run in there and try to kill the Immortal if that's out of position.
If he kills all these Stalkers, then I think Creator might just lose the game.
I think so. I think this is actually going to be not looking like an actual Code A game to be a little harsh here. We don't normally see games where it's simply, 2 guys get out of position, or one guy's just, like making a bad choice, like sending 4 stalkers in and not doing the damage.
I think the only time you'd ever want to do that is if you plan on blinking into the main base as well with your other stalkers. Like, you have to do a 2-way sort of attack.
Exactly.
You know the army's sitting at the front door of your natural. Blinking behind that natural it doesn't really make much sense because your stalkers aren't going to live very long. Very questionable play from Creator.
Well, we have the Nexus coming down here. Pigbaby, I actually like this. He's going to play it safe. He's just going to expand here. He already knows he won that engagement. And especially in these distances on the map, once you're into the Colossus Immortal tech, where there's really no way to actually get over there super fast, just expand, just stay ahead.
Yeah, there's no point not to. Both of them are expanding near the same time, though, and both of them are going to that Colossus. So we are going to see the lasers come out, and I'm sure we're going to wait for
the lasers are coming out, man.
The lasers are coming out, Tasis, and we're going to be here for a while longer, man.
Yeah, it should be one of the longer games here. Wait, so I just saw this message here, and I'm only catching the tail end of it. It said Tasteglade. Is that what we are now?
Tasteglade. You're Sunglade, aren't you?
I'm Sunglade.
You're
Sunglade. I want to say for later. You're Moonglade, and I'm Sunglade.
Sorry, did I ruin your joke, Taste?
It's okay. We'll make it work. It's all right.
You shouldn't have told me about that.
No. It's okay. I get too excited when I'm going to say something funny in the cast, and I'm like sitting there with Moonglade, like, yeah, I'm going to say this funny joke. Uh-oh. Got the Stalker spotting now this hidden pylon. There is a hidden pylon over here in the center right. How did you get the ID Moonglade anyways?
Stole it from a map in Warcraft 3.
Oh yeah, there was a map called Moonglade, wasn't there?
It was like the worst map there ever was made in Warcraft 3. Not many maps were made, but that was the worst one. And I put caps in it and it looked good, so I kept it.
How old were you when you made your ID?
I'm gonna say 15.
15? Yeah, I think that's when I made my ID tasteless. That's actually what happens. Most people that are watching us want to know where our IDs came from. Well, it was whatever our prepubescent minds thought was the coolest thing.
I had one when I was even younger than that, around 12 years old, which was Dead Rock.
I think our toasters was Archmage Danny 14. I'm not even joking. Archmage Danny, man.
Archmage Danny, man.
Yeah, man. He was Archmage Danny.
Oh, I'm going to remember that one.
Yeah, no, you can't forget that one. That's so cute.
Archmage.
I think it's because he played the mage in Diablo.
Oh.
And then, Diablo came out. And then he had to get his Battlenet ID, so he just
That's so bad.
Yeah, that's pretty funny, man.
I thought Dead Rock was pretty bad, but no.
Dead Rock? Who's Dead Rock? Was that you?
No, I made that one when I was...
You were Dead Rock?
My friend...
You went from Dead Rock to a Moonglade.
Yeah, I didn't jump much further, man.
Oh, we got an engagement happening down here.
My friend's name was Faded White.
Faded White?
Faded White. Dark black and faded white.
Dark black?
Yeah. So he's trying to...
Faded White. I was actually on I had an ID blackish gold.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Interesting.
I think it's right about 16, 17 when you get good at making IDs, guys.
Yeah.
I'm not totally sure.
One of my other experimental names back then was Burnt Water.
Burnt Water?
Yeah.
Oh, Moonglade. Yeah. Moonglade, little baby Moonglade had to take a science course, man.
Hey, man, I was experimenting back then. We were thinking up some pretty crazy
Oh, no, we've got a message in here. John loves Yu-Gi-Oh! Which is true. That's why he's not translating anymore. He went pro in Yu-Gi-Oh, guys. We got to pull out engagement here. The angling's going to be a little bit tough here. He's got to wait for that Nexus Cannon to burn out. But this is actually a great way to handle this. So warping some Zealots here in the main. Try to get that army out of position. Defense here from Creator, pretty good.
So far, so good. Little bit of an advantage in terms of supply for a Pigbaby as well. And just deciding to take a fourth from this. You know, he has complete map control. There's no scouting on the map from Creator at this point, so he's kind of just on the defensive right now. No confidence to move out anytime soon. Not even a Warp Prism, which is kind of surprising.
Pigbaby is really in a better position here.
Yeah, he is.
By a lot.
He's looking much stronger this series already.
I don't think people emphasize this enough, but in PvP, when you have the center of the map like this, it's so hard for the other player to get a good angle because the Colossi already are just these clunky units. I don't think there's really a clunkier unit when you're in a battle and you have a bunch of them. As the Colossus. Ultralists are pretty clunky. All right, all right, I'll take that. In PvP though, the Colossus, High Templars, but the problem is in a big engagement, the Colossus all bump into each other. You can see them clumping up here. So when you get a good position like this, like Pigbaby's got, two problems. A, the main army has a hard time engaging if you're Creator. Also, if he tries to do a mass Zealot warp in, you can actually try to push in or stop them from expanding and usually be fine. You just got to be careful when you actually max out, like we're seeing Creator do, or rather Pigbaby do here.
That's right.
Because that's when you get punished by the Zealot warp-ins. But from there, it's pretty straightforward. If you win the position game in the early, I'd say actually mid-late game, then you're usually in a good spot for the late game.
Yeah, it's all about those Colossus arcs more than anything else. If you get the right engagement with those Colossus, you will win the fight.
It's almost like it's too much for this matchup.
Yeah.
Just in the way it works, it's almost too brutal.
It really is unforgiving when it gets to this stage of the game.
Okay, so he's going to come in here now.
He threw away those Stalkers, I believe, on purpose, so he can remax with more useful units, because Stalkers at this point, completely useless compared to Archon Zealot.
How weird is this?
Yeah, this is a very horrible position.
So now
actually.
we have Pigbaby in the middle of everything that's red, which, depending on where the Colossi start to fire in, can or cannot be good. The Archons are pushing forward here. He needs to get these Colossi in the back here on the right, not getting up there and doing any damage. This is going to be a pretty good arc here right now for Creator. He's got to just spread this out pretty nicely, but if the Immortals can actually get in there, start to damage those Colossi, this should just end.
Yeah, Creator with a much better army here. Really good positioning, kind of a crazy move from Pigbaby, and now he's so far behind, especially in the Colossus count getting completely reset.
Wow, that was
man.
Was horrible.
He was in such a dominant position, then he decides to go into the Lion's Den and get surrounded. maybe a better choice to be picking at the 4th base or the 3rd base.
Exactly, I agree.
Damage the economy, but still have a good position with your army.
Yeah.
Instead of just going head first into
He's
death.
like getting hit from 360 degrees.
Yeah.
Now, DTs might slow Creator down. This is the natural thing that happens, though, when you've lost your maxed out army here, and you did not, you were not like winning the battle overall. If you win the battle, you make Zealot Archon and try to close in. But if you lose, what you do is make DTs here. So, I don't know. Let's see how much damage. Let's see how many observers he's actually got. We see one making for Creator here. Pigbaby's scrambling to reassemble his army. The real problem, though, is the Colossi count is so low.
Yeah.
And 1 to 2 Colossi volleys bunched up like this, and that just turns the tide of the entire game.
That's it. 6 Colossus to 3 currently. I think he's just going to give up this base.
Yeah, he has to.
They're essentially trading bases at this point, so it's not even a horrible thing for Pigbaby, and it buys him just a little bit more time to try and get that army out. So
we have a message here. It said Australia loves Pigbaby. It also said the message also said they don't like Moonglade. I was really surprised by that part.
That's
no, they didn't have that.
Oh, man.
I'm just making stuff up because I'm a mean person.
They might mean actually Pig and not Pigbaby. I'm not sure.
Could be.
They might get confused here. That's all right. Pigbaby's cool too. He's a nice guy.
Just to clarify, guys, this is Pig from Australia. We're casting here. In case there's any confusion.
He recently picked up Protoss.
We have the Archons now coming back over here, trying to get them out of position here. This is a really bad spot right now. Pigbaby is going to have to win this battle, or Creator is going to be able to shove him back even further. The Colossi angles are just very good right now. The Immortal can actually come in here and poke that one Colossus in the front. He's going to back up now. Meanwhile, we have Creator actually warping it even more over here.
Oh, hold on, this is actually the warp-ins. They're actually really helping out the remaining Colossus. And
not clear where the HP is on all these Colossus here.
Well, the front one is completely red. Down it goes. Now it's 3 against a pretty healthy number. Currently 6 for Creator.
We're going to watch this Mothership Core take all these out.
Yeah, well, he could almost. There's actually one down in the orange. Creators there, you know, we got like 3 reds. Like only like 1-2 shots away from dying. Has to be so careful with the positioning. Wait for that shield to come back.
Well, this angle might be too hard to deal with. Pigbaby can't quite get a multi-sided hit here to make the Colossi less valuable.
That's right. Oh, Photon Overcharge might not be bad if he focuses down the weak Colossus. That'll really put him out of position. And he holds on for now, but he's down 10 supply.
This message, nice hat, tasteless. All right, well, we know how the hair experiment went here in the makeup.
Use reported tasteless here.
Yeah.
It looks good, man. I like it.
This was the new hair experiment. Was not to get a haircut. It looks like I got into boarding school. Yes, it does. I would be able to tell you the weather right now on the Weather Channel. We actually have Creator. Now, he's got to be careful here because we might actually see the same mistake happen here for Creator. He's going to move in now. He's in the center. The Colossi count may be just too great. Yeah,
this time around just way too much. This time from Creator. Maintains a decent enough position. GG. Well played from Creator, man. He turned it back. That was
nicely done.
Very dangerous game. It was more Pigbaby throwing it away than Creator winning.
Well, that was really weird, right? When he actually got in the center of all the red on the mini-map at the bottom right. I'm not sure if he thought that there was no way that his opponent would come entirely from behind, right? He might have thought that, okay, there's the bottom center and the upper right, and really, if Creator were to come from either of those 2 angles, I think Pigbaby could have had a better chance, but to come from behind, all you had to do was warp in then from the bottom center and the upper right, and then you have over 180 degrees being hit. 1 or 2 Zealots come down from the main, and the Colossi damage cannot ever be distributed properly.
That's exactly it. You know, forcing half the Colossus to shoot from behind, the rest to shoot at the main army. It completely messes up that fight dynamic. You're meant to keep that ball together. You're meant to have a beautiful arc, so when you engage, the Colossus are maximizing their damage. So it really didn't make sense why Pigbaby would do that kind of move either.
We've seen some weird stuff in PvP. We've seen people that just use a Warp Prism and in the middle of a battle just drop 2 Zealots onto the side out of a Warp Prism, and then it just draws like 3 or 4 Colossus volleys.
Just enough,
that's enough. That can absolutely do it. I mean, things get out of hand at an exponential rate when the Colossus volleys start to miss. That's why, we were talking about this earlier, but when we saw Pigbaby in that arc in the center of the map, I mean, he should have just been fine. All you really need to do, you never need to attack into the main. You just stamp out the 4th base or the would-be 4th base
slow the
and
economy
keep
down.
macroing up.
Go up a base. even, you know, think about transitioning into Tempest, go to the late game of PvP, just get that advantage in composition and win a game much more simpler.
Yeah.
But, you know, going into that kind of attack is just, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, Tasteless.
It's ridiculous, Mooney. Well, guys, we're going into game number 3. It's neck and neck right now. The map is going to be Iron Fortress. Gotta say, very odd, you know, mid-late game there from Pigbaby.
Yeah.
I think a lot of PvPs, though, are usually decided just in the early game. PvP is oftentimes a very short, oftentimes very violent matchup.
Very build order oriented.
And we do see a big difference in the way players play when they do get into late game. A lot of these guys are just very hinged on reading their opponent early, making a snap judgment, or you know, faking him out and winning like that. We've got other guys, occasionally people like Rain, I'd say Rain about last year even more so, that just got into mid-game, late game, got the right number of Colossus out. If you remember this, it was actually Rain who figured out like the right number of Colossi, usually stop at, which is like around 9.
Then you get a few more Immortals in, and you make that perfect composition. Same with Zest, he actually really was great at doing that. This map, you know, I doubt we're going to see it go very long on this map, especially because it is Iron Fortress. This map is very aggressive.
I'm just laughing at myself because I'm now remembering back from like the early Wings of Liberty cast. We'd have like 15 Colossi on either side, and like even Danny didn't know if that was good or not. We're like, I don't know, man. I mean, they're pretty good. They can climb up and down ledges pretty quickly. They got good range. I'm not sure. I mean, why would you stop doing that?
That makes sense.
And then we saw Rain get the right number of Immortals and come in there. Well, our map is loading up. Let's see how these two open up. It's basically a best of 3 now with Creator and Pigbaby, since they're now both 1-1 in this best of 5. We're going to go to the map. Iron Fortress is a map we've had a good amount of. Yeah. PvP can be a little bit interesting. Certainly when we go to the late game. Let's see what happens.
GSL. This is the thing. Let's make it hot.
In the bottom right, in the red, he is
Creator Prime.
In the blue, in the bottom left.
Gene Air Green Wings, Pigbaby.
All tied up here, Tasteless.
Where did he get that ID from, Pigbaby?
Now, that's a great question. Where would you get that kind of ID? I guess he maybe just chose something random. Maybe he thinks they're really cute.
They are cute.
They are cute. But then they grow up.
I actually almost makes me sad to talk about how cute they are because I had bacon on my burgers this morning and it tasted really good. But little baby pigs are cute.
Yeah, they're delicious.
And they're smarter than dogs.
Are they?
Yeah, pigs are smarter than dogs.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's actually really weird. You can like train a pig to do all sorts of stuff that dogs can do.
Huh.
I don't know if pigs can sniff out drugs in the airport. I mean, I don't know if they can do everything, but they got pretty big noses, so maybe they could.
Yeah, they do. Oh.
No.
How about that? Look at you, picking up from Artosis. Artosis knows all these quirky things, right?
He knows all about the animals he doesn't eat, man. We got a cast like 5 years ago where there was a player named Guinea Pig, and he knew that there were like all these different breeds of guinea pigs.
I remember
all
that.
about it. Yeah,
I remember that, cast.
Guinea pigs can't get scurvy. All these crazy facts.
They can't get scurvy?
I believe there was at least one species that couldn't get scurvy.
What?
There's a YouTube video of this somewhere where he's talking about this.
So strange.
Well, we have once again Creator with the early scout here.
Yeah. He's going to get the scout off really early as well, so he's going to pick up on exactly what Pigbaby has planned. And, you know, Iron Fortress, as you can see with the base layouts, if you look at the mini-map, like, so far apart beyond that natural base, which makes it so much harder to try and lock them down, and aggression is so much better.
You guys, feel free, we're looking at the messages that people are submitting in here now. Feel free to use the Go map to communicate with us.
Yeah.
Or the fans at home. We're not actually always actively reading it, just so you guys know.
It is a lot of fun, though.
When we're not, casting the games, we have these special bicycle seats, and we pedal on them.
Right.
Yeah, we pedal on these bicycle seats to make sure that it never goes to high quality, so you guys can't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it's all about.
Yeah,
man.
that's what we do, man.
You coded Twitch. You designed it. And
I coded. Yeah, no. People just make this clear. Yeah, I built the booths the players are in. I programmed the game. All of this is me, man. No.
Tasteless does it all. He's responsible.
But here, let me tell you the truth, though. It was Artosis' idea to have it at medium here. It was
that's the Artosis business model right
that was,
there.
Yeah, and I was like, Dan, please. I was like, what about the fans?
The fans,
and he was like, forget the fans. Like that.
Then he got in his flying Hearthstone card and
flew and he flew out of Gangnam, into his floating building made out of gold from all that GSL money.
From all that medium money.
Yeah, and he said, I'm spending this on all the legendary cards in Hearthstone. That's how it works, man.
I believe it, man.
Yeah, man.
It's ruthless.
Well, we got a Stargate build here. We have Oracle coming up here. And 2 more gates from Pigbaby. I can't say I'm surprised.
No, not at all. Let's be real.
This is, he's gone with some great early game builds, actually.
Yeah, he's very aggressive. But look at this. We are seeing an Oracle come out. And looking at what Creator has, just 3 Stalkers in his base so far for defense. But if he moves them out, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. I like this, Oracle into a very quick blink.
Yeah, it's cool because there's a lot of ways you can follow this up, And if you do enough damage, I mean, there's no way your opponent can get another base before you. Now, he's going to have to be careful here because he might just,
he flew right past the Mothership
Core, and then this pylon down here. So, I mean, there's so much time to prepare for this.
Yeah, that's getting shut down pretty quick. Could even see a counterattack behind this because obviously a lot of resources were invested into Stalkers, into that Oracle and Stargate. So a Blink Stalker counterattack could do a lot of damage. Oh, he's got to pay attention here. Oracle.
So we have a message here from Poop Feast 420, a very inquisitive guy 5 years ago. I believe he's a philosopher now. I'm not totally sure what happened, but he's probably tenured at some university.
I'd follow him on Twitter, man.
Thing is, we don't even know who the real one is anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of copycats.
He might be real, this one.
Could be.
Yeah, I got a feeling this one might be real that I follow. I believe.
All right, we have what could be a pretty strong attack here from Pigbaby. We'll have to see where Creator ends up putting his Stalkers. Blink is about to finish on both sides, so it's going to be a little bit weird. Depends. See, sometimes you can fake it out. The other guy won't know that you're going to try to blink in, and then you actually start doing the right blinks. Creator's blink finishes a little bit earlier.
Already getting one of these kills. And a second kill, actually. Wow, Creator miles ahead now. And don't forget, behind this, he is actually expanding. And that Nexus is half done already.
Yeah, if he lets this Nexus get done, and Pigbaby can't punish it, it's going to be pretty bad. Since right now with the Stalker tech, they're pretty much even, minus the Oracle, and then, you can lose the Oracle in the blink of an eye. So
one shot will do the trick.
Absolutely. So you got to be really careful about that. I don't know about this angle Creator's coming down here at, even to blink away at.
Yeah, it's such an awkward angle though because he can't really use his blink to blink forward, or he's just going to have the most cost-inefficient fight ever.
There was a great caster who once said, the concave versus the convex. The concave will always win, and I think we're seeing that right now.
Famous words, Tasteless.
Yeah, famous words.
Should be written in stone. It is so true.
It's going to be on my tombstone, man. I summed that up, and every other caster said, that's it, we're done. No one can sum up that kind of battle better.
It's one of those commandments now.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's no Nexus versus a starting Nexus here for Pigbaby. I almost didn't think Pigbaby was going to be able to get the Nexus.
I was very
gun down.
surprised. Creator just really didn't want to commit to defending this beyond going down that ramp, which was going to be a very hard fight. Maybe if that Nexus had 5 extra seconds on it in building, he could have got a Nexus cannon out of it and then gone down the ramp and defended. Then he would be in such a lead. But the way it is now, like Pigbaby is going to be miles ahead when he gets his base down. Half done Nexus already. It's just holding on. Oh, Creator losing another Stalker. I almost think the Creator might be looking for a simple counterattack all in because...
Oh my god, I think someone died while writing this message. This Tastes you're so amazing going to have you. What if his heart just stopped beating right there? We'll never know. We got the full-on engagement happening right here. It's all going to come down to Blink Micro right now. Creator could have had maybe just 1 or 2 more Stalkers over there on the high ground.
Yeah.
But I think Creator actually, is he going to be okay? This is tough to call. Let me look on your PC, man, because I can see the hit points here.
Yeah, I think...
Yeah, you know what? The blinking was good from Pigbaby, but all of them are so bruised. Yeah. And now Creator's going to come in here and just hit it such a good angle. And that is brutal before Blink can even recharge here.
Well, behind this, though, you got to remember that Pigbaby has that expansion up and running now. And he will have like a photon overcharge ready in case Creator goes for a counterattack. The Creator is essentially all in from here at this point as well. He's warping in more Stalkers. He might be going for that counter-attack that I believe he should probably go for, because throwing down a Nexus at this point isn't really going to bring you back into the game. You're so far behind in economy. There we go. He's going to throw it down. And it's going to be up to Pigbaby to just remain defensive for now. He does have that photon overcharge. He's going to have 5 Stalkers up against the 8 of Creator.
Well, he's going to come down here now, and this is going to be a little bit tricky now. I don't know if he's going to be able to save the Nexus. Okay, Nexus Cannon. Like, I forgot about that. I guess that was. I guess that sums it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Forgot about that unit. All right, so he chases the Oracle out here. Okay, so they're probably both going to get their Nexuses up. I kind of like where Pigbaby is there. You know, he's overall been, minus that really weird game 2,
bad
where he's sort of just bad decision making in the battle. Overall, I think his builds and the way he's reacting is pretty good.
Now it kind of stabilizes. And he's also got this Oracle still alive, which I think is going to really prove to be an advantage in the mid-game. He's going to be able to scout it out with Revelation.
Sure.
He's going to be able to have that detection if he needs to, or he can go for, you know, a little bit more harassment.
Well, the Oracle is really such a multifaceted unit. I think a lot of people, when they play, they only think of it as this thing that does harassment, and then it's not got that much utility. But really, I mean, there's so much you can do with it, from spotting on a high ground for Blink to just scouting around.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, this is actually huge.
Oh, my goodness. That is a huge mistake. He gets out. He's going to lose 1 Stalker for it. 2. But it's a bad trait to Creator as well. I don't know why Creator is fighting into this.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
Really bad decision. And huge blunder with that Immortal rally.
Stalker versus Stalker, if you take out 1 or 2 Immortals, that can completely tip the scale of the game.
Changes everything, Tasteless.
It really does. Kind of weird that was even rallied out there. What was that?
Well, I think it was an Observer rally, and then he just never re-rallied it. Yeah.
Good call.
But the Blink forwards from Creator as well onto a Stalker army that was larger is also kind of questionable, right? Like, you clearly cannot get away with doing that because he's going to blink back his Stalkers, and your Blink's on cooldown, so you're never going to have that cost-efficient fight then either. I don't know. Maybe Creator a little bit tilted.
Oh, he's going to manage to get down that Oracle, so that sort of throws out the the other options he has with that, unless he wants to remake it. So we're getting to the point now. This is what PvP pretty much always looks like if both sides have stabilized. It's like Nexus chicken. You get as many gates as you can support on 2 bases, depending on what kind of unit comp you're going for, how many Immortals you want at the time, how many Colossi you want at the time, how many Forges you have at the time. And then you wait until you are absolutely 100% sure that you can get that Nexus. So we see that being taken now here. We'll see exactly when that is going to be acquired now for Creator. We've seen a lot of games where people actually wait a little bit longer for this. But I think Pigbaby's probably got the good call, since he did gun down that Immortal early on. And he's had some favorable Stalker fights, too.
Yeah, even a little bit of extra Oracle harassment, as well as that Revelation on the Stalkers. So he always knew where that army was, what they had planned. And it's a lot of confidence. And Pigbaby, he's been leading the way in every single game so far when it comes to decision-making, teching, or expanding. And Creator's always been kind of playing catch-up. It's really just been Pigbaby's decision-making that's put him behind in the late game.
Well, we'll see how this game goes from here. We haven't had the scout just yet from Creator to get up there and kind of confirm what that the third base has been taken. You should see now with the probes, long distance mining.
Yeah, there's hallucinations, really finding everything out, finding the tech.
Yeah.
And, Creator's actually pretty far ahead when it comes to ground weapons upgrades. He's got +2, half done at this point. +1 of Pigbaby's only finishing up now. It's a little bit of an advantage.
Well, Creator's actually going to come up, it looks like.
Yeah.
And start to hit the... this actually could work pretty well.
Well, he does have that higher army supply at this point. He isn't really making any probes up until this point for his third base, where Pigbaby's been making them the whole time. He's got that base fully saturated. He just has to be in position for it. And currently, both of them on even kind of Colossus counts at this point, but Pigbaby out of position.
Oh, he's actually going to come up here, and this is really bad. Yeah, out of position like this, the Zealots can get a nice... Whoa, he's like... Whoa, he was like right-clicked on it.
Oh, man.
Okay, I don't know about the assimilator assassination strat. That was really weird.
Well, I mean, I guess it'll slow down something, whether it be a Colossus or an upgrade.
You know,
Maybe.
something is better than nothing here, I guess. That looked okay, guys. Let's just stop. Everybody, just stop.
Let's just stop.
That
right
looked
now.
really weird. Okay.
Let's stop this charade.
Let's have just pause the game.
Pause the game. We got to talk to creator.
That was really weird. I mean, you know what? I guess he got in the simulator.
I don't think maybe he was really expecting Pigbaby to be out of position more so. Like
Could be.
I don't really know why or how though. Because
it just looked very, very weird. By the way, somebody was asking if I do remember Panda Bear Guy. Yes, I do.
Oh,
may he rest in peace.
Panda Bear Guy. I remember the Panda Bear Guy.
Well,
he was a popular one.
Yeah. Till he was murdered in cold blood.
Who killed him? Which player?
I don't remember. I think it was Zelos killed him. That was some neutral unit that was in the middle of the map when there was only like one neutral unit.
Was that the unit if you killed you'd lose the game?
Yeah. Every time people killed him, you ended up losing the game.
Right.
His ghost would haunt the booth. Panda Bear Guy ghost would tap the elbow or the shoulder when the guy's trying to migrate. Like, no,
the
my
booth
shuttle!
Gets slightly colder as well from the haunting and stuff, so like your hands slow down. And
Panda Bear Guy's face comes out of the monitor and ghost form and bites the guy on the lips. She's like, ah!
Have you seen those movies where like they're driving in the car, then that ghost face will appear and it'll just disappear as they drive through it and stuff?
I don't think I've seen that one.
Okay. It's kind of like what he'd do, like he'd be staring at the monitor, then the space appears for a second, he's like, ah!
Oh man, I think Creator's like just in a really bad spot here. Look at how he's bunched up like this.
He looked for that feedback.
Actually, look at this, the angle. He's going to have to go around to get out of that, away from that ramp. Now, Pigbaby is going to play really safe here. And just, if you want to talk about, haunted, scary stuff, if you play against Tasteless on the ladder, it's like the movie Ring where that girl climbs out of the TV. That's me climbing out of your monitor and stuff.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
Well, this is also a pretty scary thing. We've seen this before in game number 2, Pigbaby going deep into the natural and getting surrounded.
This is it for Creator. That's okay. So
this time
let's talk about what we saw back there, because initially someone might look at that and say, well, isn't that what happened to Pigbaby last time, but he won for some reason? Pigbaby dealt so much damage to Creator as Creator was running back in that expansion where there was a wall where only the Colossi could go down.
He shaved up a lot of that army in that small amount of time.
The way that StarCraft II AI works, things bunch up so easily, which is just so good for Archon Splash, but especially the Colossi Splash. It just deals so much damage.
It did what he had to do.
If you watch StarCraft II, it might not be as easy to notice as fast because everything dies shortly after they've unbunched. But yeah, I mean that was brutal, man. I think Pigbaby should be getting out of this.
It's looking that way. It's certainly looking that way. He looks to be a much stronger player, and he's really been dominating every game so far, except for that late game decision making in game number 2.
Yeah. Well, let's see if he can turn it around. We're going to go to a short break, and when we return, we're going to continue today's GSL Code A.